up, guys? It's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we're going to be reacting to the Barcelona news over the past few days, where there are a lot of topics to discuss. First, we're going to be talking about, of course, the January transfer window, where Barcelona's plan is pretty much set. They're going to use the salary space given up by Gavi with his injury, and Vitor Roque will arrive. 100% Vitor Roque is coming in January. We're going to give you guys all the updates on that, and also the possibility of signing another midfielder. We are hearing right now that Giovani Lo Celso is the huge, massive favorite to come in as a midfield replacement or reinforcement if the club do end up pursuing a midfield signing. We also have some updates on our summer targets, and number one being Martin Zubimendi, another one being Estevão Willian, also known, of course, as Messinho. There is some competition from Real Madrid for Messinho. We will talk about that. Exits, of course, Barcelona have to sell players in the summer. We have an update on the future of both Sergi Roberto, Alonso, and even Ansu Fati. We have some injury updates as well, some general news around Barcelona as well. A lot to discuss. But before we get into it, make sure you guys smash that like button down below. Let's try to get to 200 likes in this video. Be very much appreciated. Also, if you're new, make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Let's first take a look at some of the transfer news over the past few days, and the first and the biggest topic is, of course, about the incorporation of Vitor Roque in January. And over the past few days, it has been absolutely nothing but positive news. We're going to go through everything. Now, firstly, earlier in the week, Deco came out. He was asked about the incorporation of Vitor Roque. He said, look, the incorporation of Vitor Roque will be based on fair play. Depending on what we generate and what we can do with Gavi's injury, a new scenario arises. We're going to evaluate it based on what we can do, and we are seeing now what we can do. Now, when this first came out, everyone's thinking, okay, what's going to be the priority? Are we going to go for Vitor Roque? What are we going to use Gavi's salary space for? And then as the days progressed, Raccoon were actually the first outlet to report the news, saying that Barcelona will be able to register Vitor Roque in January due to the salary space created by the injury of Gavi. The Russian data from Mundo Deportivo came out confirming this as well, saying that Barcelona have a free path now to register Vitor Roque in January. They can use 80% of the space vacated by Gavi due to his injury to register the Brazilian striker until June, and then next season he will be registered under the normal financial fair play regulations. Barcelona received this positive news a few days ago, but they want to have it within writing before talking to Roque's entourage and guaranteeing his registration. Now Barcelona just made the final decision when they want to register Vitor Roque in January or sign a midfielder. So now Barcelona have the capabilities to bring someone in January 100%, whether it's Vitor Roque, whether it's going to be a midfielder. It is as clear as day that someone can come in now without us having to sell or renew, or even the economic Libero from Libero Football Finance is no longer needed. We can bring in anyone that we want to bring in January. Now, Fernando Polo from Mundo Deportivo came out saying that Barcelona have made the decision that Vitor Roque will be registered in January with the salary space vacated by Gavi. The arrival of midfielder now depends on the 40 million euros owed by Barca Studio. So Barcelona have now officially decided that with the salary space left by Gavi, Vitor Roque will be the one coming in, and if the club want to sign a midfielder as well, they need the money owed from Libero Football Finance from the economic lever last summer to be paid as soon as possible. They continue on by saying that Vitor Roque will arrive at Barcelona in January on loan until the end of the season with the space vacated by Gavi, and next season his normal contract will be registered once FFP is generated. Gavi will not have to be unregistered from La Liga until next season when he can play, in which principle his new contract should be registered under normal FFP, as currently he was registered with the first team by a court's order. So this is why Gavi's official renewal wasn't registered quite yet, because we're still under the court ruling, and Barcelona still have time to register his actual renewal, which will take place probably at some point around August, September. So when we go into next summer, we're gonna have to keep in mind that Gavi's salary will be, taken into account during the transfer plannings and all things like that. But again, you're probably confused on why Vitor Roque is coming in on loan. Keep in mind, he signed a contract with Barcelona until July 2024. So for him to come in now, he would technically come on loan. I believe we'll be covering his salary that he's currently earning with the Brazilian club, and the Brazilian club, of course, have opened that up to let him, Vitor Roque, go and start his new journey. This is already pre-agreed back in the summer. Now, Fernando Polo from Mundo Deportivo continues on by saying that Barcelona believe that with Pedri and Frenkie de Jong back now, and with Fermin Lopez and other youth team players, there are enough troops in the midfield to cover Gavi's loss, hence the prioritization of Vitor Roque's arrival with the space vacated by Gavi. If Barcelona do get the 40 million owed by Barca Studios from whatever company, it is not ruled out that a midfielder can arrive as long as there's consensus at the club and he improves the level of the current squad. What did we say in the last video? Barcelona will not sign anyone for the sake of signing. So that's going to be very, very important. Again, if we get the money for Barca Studios and the entire board, Laporta, Deco, Uste, Xavi, and Boyan all agree to bring in this one midfielder, he will come in. Who that midfielder will be remains to be seen. We'll talk about some of those options later on. Now, on Vitor Roque again, Rocha Solero from Mundo Deportivo came out saying that once he receives the okay from Barcelona, Vitor Roque will play his last match for Atletico Paranaense on December the 6th. And after that, he'll go on vacation around December the 20th. He will fly to Barcelona and join training. He's already focused on being able to make his debut for Barcelona in the first game of the year against Las Palmas and be fully fit, ready to go for the Spanish Super Cup. Now, on the 20th, keep in mind, we do play against Almeria that day, so I don't think they'll be training that day. And then, of course, the day afterwards, we go to travel to Dallas to play Club America. Maybe Vitor Roque can join that game. Wouldn't mind that whatsoever. But again, the plan now is for Vitor Roque to arrive in December, get situated, get integrated, train for a bit, and then in January, hopefully he'll be fully fit and ready to go. And this is a positive thing. Again, my goal was always been saying for the past few months that by December, we need to have an idea if Vitor Roque is coming in or not. Register him as soon as possible. January the first hits, get him into the squad, let him integrate, train a bit, and then hopefully he'll break through. And as from after Lewandowski's disaster class last night against Rayo Vallecano, his crop performances recently, I think Vitor Roque definitely has a chance to break into the team. Now, speaking of Rayo Vallecano last night, Deco was speaking after the match on the possible signing of course, Vitor Roque. He said that, look, it has not yet been decided whether or not we will register Vitor Roque, but I think that in the end, it may be a possibility. So he went from saying, we don't know, we'll wait and see, to now we don't know, but it looks possible. So again, does not want to just confirm to the media that he's coming in. Of course, he wants to keep it a bit discreet. He's doing, he's just playing the media at this point. 100%, 1000%, Vitor Roque is going to be coming in January, and I'm absolutely excited about how he'll change the squad, the competition and coverage for Lewandowski as well. He can be a big player, or he might take a while, might need 6 months to integrate into the new system, the new style of play, new atmosphere as well. It's a big move from Brazil to Barcelona, especially mid-season as well. So I'm not saying he's going to be guaranteed to walk in and start, the day after he arrives, but I think it can go either way. Either he impresses well and breaks into the team early, or he might take time to integrate. So I'll wait and see, but 100% Vitor Roque will be coming in January. Now, on the possibility of signing a midfielder, the only midfielder that I would say at the moment that's being heavily linked with Barcelona as a possible incorporation in January is Giovani Lo Celso. Firstly, Fran Martinez from Deportivo came out saying the regulation facility of the arrival of an interior and Giovani Lo Celso is actually well positioned. Xavi was already in favor in the summer of signing an interior, and with an arrival even more so after Gavi's departure. So again, Xavi, even with Gavi in the squad fully fit, still wanted Lo Celso last summer. Now, the Evening Standard in the UK have come out saying that Lo Celso is set to play a key role for Tottenham Hotspur in the coming months. Barcelona are looking at the Argentine for the January loan swoop, but Spurs are battling key injuries of their own. I would keep an eye on Tottenham over the next few weeks. If Lo Celso does end up playing a few more minutes and he's a regular starter, that might hinder the pursuit. But if he does not play, just coming off the bench the last 10-20 minutes, I don't know. I think it could definitely be a possibility. Again, if all Barcelona have to do is just sell Barca Studios, which they've already sold, of course, to Libero Football Finance back in August, and just get that money coming in, and that's it. There's no need to sell players. Don't have to do a renewal. Don't have to do a salary reduction. It is all in the hands of Barcelona. It's just now down to whether or not we do want a midfielder. Now, again, we saw in the last report how Barcelona wants to bet in-house. Sport have come out saying that Xavi is very happy and satisfied with how Fermin Lopez is working daily and also with his performances on the pitch. The coach now considers him a first-team player. Fermin has been very beloved player in the dressing room, and he has earned his place. Of course, came on last 15-20 minutes against Vallecano yesterday, and he was absolutely shite, in my opinion. But again, we're not going to rush to conclusions. I think it comes down to a lot what's going to happen now from now until December. If we get another injury, maybe players are not performing. Again, we're having Fermin, who's been stinky. Romeo, who, if I speak, I am in big trouble. We're at a point now where, keep in mind, our midfield was already light. First team midfielders, you have Pedri, Gavi, Frankie de Jong, Gundogan, and Romeo. You only have 5 first team midfielders for when you need 6, of course. You need 2 in per position. So we're already down 1. Romeo is stinky, so now down to 4. Gavi is injured, we're now down to 3. So Fermin Lopez now come in to, been promoted within house, which is fine. I still think we need coverage, especially when players are not performing well. But again, it comes down to what's available, if Giovani Lo Celso is attainable, and also do we feel it as an absolute necessity for us to bring in a midfielder. Again, keep in mind Raphinha can play there. If we get when Vitor Roque does join January, you can have the option to play some wingers in behind. Joao Felix can play in the 10 in behind as well. So there are options there, but I think it depends a lot on what happens from now until December the 21st, of course, when we have all these key games: Girona, Atletico, Porto, Royal Antwerp, Valencia, Almeria. Key matches where it will be the deciding factor, in my opinion. Now, during the Marca celebrations a few days ago, we'll talk about that near the end of the video. Deco and João Laporta were asked about the injury of Gavi and also what they can do in the market. Deco said that look at the January transfer window, midfield signing. The winter market is always hard. It's not easy. Gavi's irreplaceable. You cannot find any other player like him. With a focus on what we have, we're also recovering other players as well. Laporta said that in principle, we think that we have a very competitive squad and Xavi has elements to move forward this season. So Deco and Laporta see the team just fine for now, but again, I think the performances, maybe even more injuries, hopefully not, can definitely change that, perspective. So we'll wait and see what happens with the signing of a midfielder in January. It is definitely not on the table right now or a priority. I would say the club will probably keep an eye on some players here and there just in case they want to go for someone. Again, Vitor Roque will come in with that salary space given up by Gavi, and it's just not that's a team performance. If we have some performances, we end up playing well, then we might say, you know what, we'll just risk it for the biscuit, we'll bet in-house. But if we have other injuries and players are not performing, that might change the board's perspective. Now, along with the winter transfer market plan, Barcelona have already also begun planning for the summer transfer window as well. We do have some targets that we have been linked with for in the summer only. First up is Estevão Willian, also known as Messinho, probably the next talent coming out of Brazil after Endrick and Vitor Roque, and Barcelona have been following him for a very long time. But now there is competition for his signing. Relevo have come out saying that Estevão Willian has a release clause of 60 million euros if his evolution continues and payment terms are accepted. Real Madrid could sign him just like they did with Endrick. Catalan has known him for years and has very positive reports on him. He could be signed just like they did with Endrick. Barcelona want him as well. Messinho himself has declared that he's a Barcelona fan, but their economic problems may be an obstacle. Now, when I first saw it, I'm thinking, if we lose out yet again to another Brazilian talent to Real Madrid, I will be fuming. Again, they've gotten Vinicius, they've gotten Rodrigo, they've gotten Endrick. It's been a clean sweep for them a lot recently. I think we've had Neymar and now Vitor Roque. That's pretty much it. So we are quite behind. And again, Estevão Willian has been absolutely unbelievable, especially at the Under-17 World Cup. He's been putting in some brilliant performances, except against Argentina. He's going to have to hold that, unfortunately. But again, there's still positive reports from the Barcelona point of view. Roger Solidero from Mundo Deportivo came out saying that Real Madrid have indeed joined the race to sign Estevão Willian Messinho, and yesterday contacted Palmeiras with the insistence to find out about the situation. A company close to Real Madrid for Vinicius also offered to act as an intermediate. Barcelona, Manchester City, Manchester United, PSG, Chelsea are all also interested in the Brazilian who has a 60 million euro release clause. For now, Messinho is still dreaming of playing for Barcelona and waiting for them to be able to make a move. But Real Madrid, who signed Vinicius and Rodrigo from Barcelona's jaws, don't intend to give up. Keep in mind, Vinicius was, talking about being a Barcelona fan as well. Apparently, he cried when we beat PSG 6-1. Rodrigo was doing the same thing. Keep in mind, Endrick, he had posters of Romario and Ronaldo, did interviews with Mundo Deportivo saying he's a Barcelona fan that ended up joining Real Madrid. Barcelona cannot let this one slip. I understand he has a 60 million euro release clause, but the payment terms are there. You pay it in installments. Maybe you can combine it with variables like you did with Vitor Roque. With Vitor Roque, it's I think 30 million euro fixed fee paid in installments and 30 million euros in add-ons. Ballon d'Or, La Liga, Champions League clauses there. Barcelona have to be all over this. And again, we are lacking in the winger department, but he would come in, probably go on loan for the first season or two, and then break into the first team, unless he's, maybe he's unbelievable and breaks in immediately. This is a talent we can definitely not lose on. But again, the Estevão Willian, being a Barcelona fan, is becoming, we could say, a big asset to Barcelona, because on Instagram he did a little post and someone commented a front three of Lamine Yamal, Estevão, and Vitor Roque, and actually Estevão Willian did like the comment. And I tell you what, that front three would be disgusting. Imagine them all in their prime. Woof. Oh, that is. Imagine like it would be what, Vitor Roque up front, Estevão maybe on the right, and then Lamine Yamal on the left, or vice versa. We are cooking. But again, cannot rush to conclusions. We will wait and see how things go. Again, this would be something that we can talk about in the summer. This would be something as we progress closer and closer to when his release clause is not active and with the contract goes down with Palmeiras as well. But for now, Barcelona, I would say, are the favorites for Messinho, but the competition is definitely right behind us. Now, a Brazilian winger whose signing is actually very complicated at the moment is the signing of Savinho or Savinho. Again, we know that Deco is a big fan of the Girona right winger from Brazil, but again, his signing is very complicated. Franco Sport came out saying that Girona star Savinho is very controlled by Manchester City. The Brazilian is very popular within Barcelona, but his incorporation seems unlikely because he is owned by Manchester City. And also Joaquin Pereira came out confirming the news as well, who of course #1 source in regards to Brazilian players joining Barcelona. Look, I'm not too fussed about Savinho. Again, we'll have to wait and see how he ends this season, if he ends it on a high, on a low, or on, average terms. I think again he has a contract with Troyes until 2024. He's going to be owned by, until 2026. He's going to stay at Girona on loan until at least 2024. And also, honestly, I'd rather have Estevão Willian. I think Estevão Willian has shown more than Savio, especially at the age gaps as well. And they're probably going to cost around the same price as well. I would say Man City, if they want to sell Savio this summer, would probably ask for around 40, 50, extra 10 million. You can get Estevão Willian for that price. So I think the Savio option is slowly but surely deteriorating, but I'd say keep your eyes on him in the future. If he's a free agent, maybe in the future, things like that. What's confirmed at this point is that Deco is a big fan of the player, just now down to Barcelona's planning in the upcoming transfer markets. But Barcelona's #1 target for the upcoming summer transfer window, as we all know, will most likely be the incorporation of a pivot, and right now the main name is Martin Zubimendi. Now, Fabrizio Romano, the big dog himself, has come out saying that Barcelona has been discussing Zubimendi internally for the summer of 2024, but not in January, of course. Xavi is a big fan of the player. For Xavi, Zubimendi is considered as the next Busquets. If Xavi were to choose a midfielder, it would be him. Last summer, he wanted him at Sociedad. Aside being expensive, he remains expensive with his release clause of 60 million euros. I've never wanted a player more since we signed Koundé. Before that, though, since we signed Frankie de Jong. I wanted De Ligt so badly as well with de Jong. He ended up going to Juventus, of course, because PK was still starting week in, week out. Zubimendi cannot be more of a perfect signing, in my opinion. And I still don't understand. I get comments on my videos saying two things. Oh, Zubimendi is average, or oh, Zubimendi said he doesn't want to join Barcelona. Lads, listen. He said he doesn't want to join Barcelona last summer because he wanted to play in the Champions League with his boyhood club, Real Sociedad. He now has done that. He's played in the Champions League with Sociedad, so now that option is off the table. If the offer presents itself from Barcelona, I think he'd be willing to make that move. Again, this is the pinpoint. You cannot, go wrong signing for Barcelona. This will come down as an absolute success if we end up getting this deal. I've seen him play in the Champions League against Benfica, against Inter. He played against us. And I saw him against Real Madrid as well. He's absolutely unbelievable, and he is the perfect player. Imagine Zubimendi, de Jong, Pedri. I would do so many things for Barcelona to sign Zubimendi this summer, but again, we'll have to wait and see. 60 million euro release clause, I think that is a fair price for Zubimendi. I don't think that's too expensive. I don't think that's very cheap. I think that is a fair and good price for all parties. Barcelona get the play that they need, so they get 60 million euros from an academy player. It's happy days for everyone. I really hope that Barcelona signs Zubimendi this summer. I'd rather Zubimendi over Kimmich, especially with Kimmich probably being more expensive this summer. If they're the same price, I'd still go for Zubimendi. He's already Spanish. He's playing the league. He knows he has the experience. It's the easiest signing where you cannot make a mistake for Barcelona. But let's wait and see. Let's hope Barcelona do have the funds and do make the necessary moves to sign Zubimendi in the summer. Again, he is Xavi's #1 target for the pivot position. It's just not down to the Barcelona board coming up with the necessary funds and making this signing that's a dream for Xavi and the majority of culés as well a reality. Let's now discuss the players that have been rumored to leave Barcelona over the past few days. First up is a player who's gonna leave in the summer, but he's apparently thinking about leaving. I don't know. It is Marcos Alonso. Now, Marca have come out saying that Marcos Alonso wants to play more football. The option of leaving in January is on the table, although it seems unlikely. Deep down, he still believes that he can end up entering Xavi's plans as the season progresses. Lad, the only way Alonso can get into the team is if Cancelo has broken his leg, Balde has broken both his arms, and I'm not fit to be available. Then Marcos Alonso might have a chance of getting into the squad. I mean, maybe as a center back, if we have the biggest injury crises of all injury crises in that back line, maybe. I think as a left back, he has absolutely no chance. Although Alejandro Balde is not doing too well, he's lacking a bit of confidence. I still cannot believe that Aleman and Cruyff did not sign Ronaldo on a free last summer. Look at Ronaldo at Bayern Leverkusen. He's absolutely balling. Imagine we had Ronaldo and Alejandro Balde. we would have been absolutely set. Now, Gabriel Sanz from Deportivo came out saying that several clubs from Saudi Arabia, like Al Hilal, Al Ettifaq, and also Al Ittihad, have asked about Alonso's situation, but Alonso's only played 229 minutes this season. He is the third choice left back and is pretty much no longer an option at center back. For now, Alonso is convinced that he can be useful and could wait until the end of the year before making a final decision. An exit in January could be complicated by Barcelona's squad being thin and a possibility to sign in January due to FFP. Again, now we've talked about January FFP. We now have some availabilities with Vitor Roque coming in, the salary space from Gavi, and Liberal Football Finance. Look, I would sell Alonso in January. The reality is he's not going to play from January until June. Firstly. Secondly, we're going to be paying him his weekly wages from January until June. Get rid of that. Any transfer fee I would take, 1 million, 2 million, 500k, 3 million. I would honestly even let him go for free. Don't tell him I said that, but I would let him go for free in January. 6 months early, don't have to pay his wages. For me, this is an absolute no-brainer. It's just now down to Barcelona doing it again. Xavi does love the player. He's apparently very important behind the scenes, dressing room, morale, boosting confidence and all this stuff, but I find it, not necessary, especially with the young core that we have and the players that have been together for such a long time. But we will wait and see. Hopefully someone becomes desperate in January and signs him, but I think that's going to be very unlikely unless... Because imagine this. You sign Vitor Roque with the space of Gavi, you then sell Alonso, and then use the space for Alonso to bring in a midfielder. Oh my god. Lads, Deco, I've just broken the code for you. It is not that simple. You get a midfielder that we need, you bring in Vitor Roque, you get rid of Alonso. Oh my god. Easy money. Because keep in mind, Alonso is on like what, 100,000 a week at the bare minimum. I'm pretty sure Lo Celso would come in and maybe earn the same amount, if not a bit under. You're absolutely golden. And if we can sell Alonso, that means we can pay a loan fee to Tottenham as well. I'd give Tottenham $1 million just to use Lo Celso for the season. I think that's completely fine. Again, I'm getting too ahead of myself. We'll wait and see what happens with Alonso, but again, most likely the scenario is he'll leave at the end of the season when his contract expires. Now, another player that is on the same boat as Marcos Alonso is Sergi Roberto. His situation, his future is a bit in doubt at the moment. He has been injured for the past 2 months. Should be back for Porto this week. But again, his situation is a bit different from Alonso because the club see him as a Barcelona legend. I would consider him maybe a Barcelona icon. I don't think he's in that legendary status. Anyways, AS have come out saying that Sergi Roberto has more than accepted that this is his last season at Barcelona and a move to the MLS is gaining strength. Get him to Inter Miami. Roberto, Busquets, Alba, Messi, Suarez. Oh, I'll be an Inter Miami fan all day. Sergi Roberto's role as a dressing room manager, mentor for young players, and counselor of the new players has been key. He has only worn the armband for around 224 minutes out of the possible 1,530 minutes he's been available for. He is pretty much the captain without the armband behind the scenes. Sergi Roberto could renew for a season with the possibility of an additional one depending on the number of games he has played, but everything depends that he will hardly reach the spectacle figures. So apparently if he reaches a certain amount of games played, the club will have to maybe take a look at his contract and see what they can do. Again, even with the injury to Gavi, I still see it difficult for Roberto to come in. I think he'll definitely get some minutes off the bench as well, and Romeo's not doing too well. So I think Roberto does have a sneaky bit of a chance. And of course, he has to stay fit as well, which is important. He's come in, he got the goal against Granada, which of course is very important. I remember his game against Villarreal. I think that was one of the worst cameos I've seen from a Barcelona player in a very, very long time. But that was at right back, to be fair. So I don't know what's going to happen with Roberto. I think if you see him play a lot of minutes from now until February, maybe the club will renew him for 1 year. I think it would be absolutely stupid. We've already made the decision. We already have it in our heads that Roberto's going to leave this summer. I wouldn't ruin it. Let him get the good farewell and the Montjuic and call it a day. Let him go and still play with Inter Miami while he's still at least somewhat at a decent level. I think there is absolutely no point whatsoever in renewing Roberto. But wait and see what the club decides. I think for now is a very likely chance that he'll leave in the summer. But I think it depends now with the Gavi injury. If he plays significant minutes, maybe the club might reconsider. But I think again, most likely outcome is that he leaves this summer for free. Now, a player's future at Barcelona that is very much in doubt to the point that he could be a starter next season or he could be sold this summer is Ansu Fati. Now, The Athletic have come out saying that regarding Ansu Fati's future, all options are possible, including a second season at Brighton on loan, although that seems a bit far-fetched. They are paying 80% of his weekly wage, and that $128,000 a week contribution is way above what other Brighton players are earning. At the start of the summer, Barcelona were contemplating a permanent sale of Ansu Fati if a reasonable offer was made. Fati rejected the prospect of departure and wanted to prove the doubters at the club wrong, but a preseason without earning a spot in the starting XI did end up pushing him out. It will be a challenge challenge for Barcelona to move Ansu Fati on next summer based on his transfer fee and wages. Even bigger and wealthier Premier League clubs such as Tottenham Hotspur may shy away from a hefty investment. A move to Saudi Arabia could be a possibility, but Ansu Fati staying at Brighton permanently is out of the question due to his terms and his conditions of his contract. His salary demands would blow apart Brighton's carefully managed salary structure. Brighton would only be in contention to extend his stay if Barcelona were prepared to loan him out again on similar terms they did this past summer. Now, if Barcelona were to loan Ansu Fati out again, 100% they had to renew his deal for at least 1 year. Again, his contract does expire in 2026. You want to keep some of that value as well. So I wouldn't mind renewing him for 1 more year, then sending him out on loan to Brighton again for another year. Now, this report did come out, I think, 2 days ago, and last night against Nottingham Forest away, Ansu Fati did go down injured. We're waiting to see how the injury reports are. I haven't gotten any news as of recording this video, so we'll wait and see with that. But with Ansu, it's in his hands. Look, I think there's definitely a chance that he can be in the Barcelona squad next season. Against Joao Felix, it looks like he's going to cost around 70 million euros to make him permanent. Will he live up to expectations from now until the summer as well? You know, I think he has like, what, 4 goals, 3 assists. Felix, he hasn't done any goal contributions in the past few games, so you could say first 3-game hype for Felix. But again, I think he has been playing well, just not getting the statistical advantage, you could say. But we'll wait and see. It is too early to tell, I think, right now. It depends a lot on how Ansu Fati ends the season, how Joao Felix ends the season. Is Estevão Willian available? What's going to happen with Raphinha, Varane? If you told me right now Ansu Fati is in the squad next season, I would not be surprised. I think there's a definite chance, especially on top of the fact if he performs well at Brighton. What sucks is that Ansu Fati just now broke into the Brighton XI and he just got injured, so it's a bit disappointing with that, but we'll wait and see what happens to Ansu Fati. I think it's a very delicate situation, one they have to keep an eye on for the entirety of the season, but I think right now his chances are 50-50 to be sold or loaned again or be in the Barcelona squad next season. Speaking about wingers at Barcelona, another winger that's future is very much in the air as well, I would say at the moment, is the future of Raphinha. Again, he's been a bit lackluster this season, injury, suspension, all that jazz, and there have been reports coming in from Sport saying that Al Hilal is interested in Raphinha. The Saudi club is looking for a star player in the market to replace Neymar, who's out until the end of the season, and Raphinha is on their list. Al Hilal tried to make a move this summer, but the Brazilian closed the door to both Saudi Arabia and Premier League. There was no chance. Barcelona might sell Raphinha if a good offer comes in. If you told me right now, Barca boy, you have to sell Raphinha tomorrow, what would be your price? I would say 55 million euros. I think that's a fair price for what he's done this so far. I think he had a good season last season. This season, he hasn't really gotten any playing time, for being completely honest, and he's come off the bench the majority of the time. I think he only started maybe 4 or 5 games this season. But like I said, when Gavi got injured, I'll say it again, from now until June, this is Raphinha's time. He has to perform well, whether he's playing on the right, as an interior, on the left. This is where he's going to make his stance on his Barcelona career. Of course, Dembele was sold. We didn't sign anyone. We bet on Raphinha to be that mainstay in the right wing position. It is now down to him to perform. And if he doesn't perform, he definitely has suitors. So I think Barcelona will not hesitate to sell him if a good offer comes in. Of course, Deco is his former agent, so there is some sort of connection there that you have to keep an eye on. There is some, maybe you could say, favoritism could be a factor. But we'll wait and see with Raphinha. I don't think there's anything concrete at the moment. I doubt, actually, I will tell you 100%, he will not be sold in January unless a ridiculous offer comes in. I think January price is about 70, 80. If Al Hilal bid 80 million for Raphinha in January, I think Barcelona would be stupid not to accept that. But we'll wait and see. I doubt he'll be sold in January. It's going to be coming down to the summer. What will happen in his future? But now Raphinha has from now until the summer to prove why he is a Barcelona player. Now, another way in which Barcelona can earn some revenue from transfer fees is, of course, future clauses that we put in other players' contract. One of the main things we've been talking about a lot is Todibo. If Todibo is sold at any point during his career at Nice, Barcelona do reserve 20% right of any future transfer fee. And the same goes for Oscar Mingueza. Now, Sport have come out saying that several Italian clubs are interested in Oscar Mingueza, who's having a wonderful season at Celta Vigo. Apparently, Lazio, the main Italian club that are interested, and Barcelona do reserve 50% of any future sales. So keep your eyes on the future of Mingueza. If Celta Vigo does sell him for any fee, 1 million, 2 million, 10, 20, Barcelona do get half of that transfer fee. Let's now discuss some of the injury updates around the first team at Barcelona. Of course, only 2 players are out injured right now, Roberto and Ter Stegen. Of course, Gavi is just way too long term to give you guys updates. Gavi will be having a surgery, by the way, on Tuesday, so keep your eyes on that news. But on Roberto, we are hearing that he'll be fit for Porto, along with Marc-Andre Ter Stegen. Having from AES came out saying that Ter Stegen tried to pass a fitness test under the last moment to play against Vallecano, but it was not satisfied, and doctors and the coaches have opted out with caution, with the aim of him being fully fit for the match against Porto. So the plan is for Ter Stegen to return in the match against Porto. Not really confirmed 100% quite yet, but my god, after Naki Penny's performance, we've got to get Ter Stegen back in there. Again, I saw a lot of reports from like Mundo Deportivo and Sports saying that, oh, Naki Penny played well, he looked comfortable, he looked composed, he looked confident. I'm thinking, bloody hell, he's the reason why we conceded the goal. And also, Vallecano were pressing him so much, he gave the ball away twice in possession in dangerous areas as well. I don't think Naki Penny did that well yesterday. Yes, in the second half, it was quiet and he didn't really have much to do, but when they were pressing him, he almost gave the ball away on the left-hand side with Inigo Martinez. I don't understand that aspect. But nonetheless, if Naki Penny is in goal, we will back him, of course, 100%. But let's hope that the captain for the majority of the season, Ter Stegen, is fully fit for that crucial matchup in the Champions League against Porto. Now, the final topic that I want to discuss before I end up this video is to give you guys some of the news surrounding Barcelona over the past few days. Firstly, in regards to Gavi's injury, we did hear that, of course, people were going to pay Barcelona around 4 to 5 million euros for his injury. Of course, 20,000 euros every single day he's out injured after the first 28 days that he's injured. But according to AS, the RFEF will pay around Barcelona 7.5 million euros as compensation for Gavi's injury. So not only is the RFEF Federation, of course, Spanish Federation, paying for Gavi's injury, but also FIFA. So all in all, we could see Barcelona earn around 10 million euros from Gavi's injury. Of course, 7.5, let's just say 7 hypothetically from the Spanish Federation, then a 5 on top of that from FIFA. So obviously I'd rather have Gavi on the pitch than the 10 million euros 100%, but it's something to take note of, I would say, for sure. So whether Barcelona use that to pay his salary, pay the player's salary, maybe add that in the transfer budget, I have no idea, but there is some sort of revenue coming in from Gavi's injury. Next up, we do have some news in regards to the new Spotify Camp Nou, of course, the Espai Barça project, where Elna Fort, who is, of course, one of the organizers, and she basically runs the entire Espai Barça project. She was doing a press conference, and she gave us some updates around the project, of course. She came out asking when we will return to the Spotify Camp Nou, so if nothing happens, we should be back there for around November 2024. She was then asked what could happen that could prevent us returning to the Camp Nou in November 2024. So maybe it's a natural disaster, maybe another pandemic, something beyond our control. So again, we're going to be back at the Camp Nou in 2024. Unless there's an earthquake or something that the club cannot control, everything will be set for the anniversary return to the Spotify Camp Nou. She then continued on by saying that initially we will return with the capacity of 65,000, and in the end the capacity will be 104,600. So we heard it was going to be around 70,000 initially. Looks like that docked down to 5,000, 65,000. Again, that's still higher than the Montjuic. I think the Montjuic's capacity is around 40, so we do get an extra 20,000 seats moving back to the Camp Nou, and the new capacity 104,600. Imagine those Champions League semifinals, Clásicos, 100,000 people. Whoa, ridiculous. Then she was finally asked about the Messi farewell tributes. That are you planning on honoring Messi when we return to the Camp Nou in 2024 with the partial capacity for the 125th anniversary of the club? And she said, no, Messi deserves to be honored with a full stadium. This is very, very interesting. So again, the rumor was that on the 125th anniversary of the club, when we go back to the Camp Nou in November 2024, we're going to play a friendly match, Argentina versus Barcelona. Messi will play a half for each side, and he'll bring out his World Cup and Ballon d'Or. We're going to give him a proper farewell. Initially, that sounded good, but again, November, that's middle of the season for MLS. If Inter Miami do very, very well, Barcelona will be well underway in their season as well. It kind of, didn't line up, and also 65,000 people only coming in, so it's not even that many people coming in for Leo Messi, of course, the greatest human being to ever touch a football being tributed. So I understand that, so maybe I might see a delay in that, maybe until 2025 in the summer at some point, but we'll wait and see. It'll all be confirmed before Barcelona even, present the offer, of course, through the media. Now, finally, I want to discuss the Marca Awards that took place a few days ago, where, of course, the awards of the years were given out. Of course, Lewandowski was the top scorer. He won the Pichichi. Ter Stegen won the Zamora Trophy for the most clean sheets. Of course, it was a historic Zamora Trophy, the most clean sheets ever in a league campaign. But also, surprisingly, in my opinion, Ter Stegen also won Player of the Year in La Liga. I was stunned by that. Of course, you had some other competition. You had Vinicius, who apparently the contender. I don't know why. Griezmann, of course, had an unbelievable season, despite, I think, Atletico Madrid coming 3rd or 4th. Lewandowski had a good year. I think Pedri won the best player of the year, voted by the fans. But Ter Stegen came out with that award, which I think is a big, big feat for Ter Stegen. I think he had an absolutely unbelievable season last season. Inside of Spain, outside of Spain, different story, of course. But that came as a surprise to me, so thought I would share that. So yeah, Ter Stegen won the player of the season. He won the best goalkeeper, of course, most clean sheets. Lewandowski got the Pichichi with the top goal scorer. And Pedri won the award for the best player of the season that was voted specifically only by the fans. So that was my reaction to the Barcelona news over the past few days. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, and of course leave me your thoughts down below in the comments on everything we discussed. The main thing I want to first, of course, is your thoughts on Vitor Roque joining in January. Are you excited? Do you think he'll end up getting a starting spot in the team come, February time? Second, your thoughts on Zubimendi being the #1 priority for Barcelona in the summer. Do you think that transfer will fall through, or do you think it will happen? And what are your thoughts on Zubimendi being the #1 priority? Do you agree with that? Would you go for someone else? Third, your thoughts on the midfield incorporation this January. Do you think it will happen or not? Would you bet on Liberal football finance money coming in? Would you sell Marcus Alonso to bring in a midfielder? And also your thoughts on Estevão Willian in the summer as well. I think that's a possibility. And finally, your thoughts on those exits of Roberto, Alonso, Ansu Fati. Do you think those exits will materialize in the summer or not? And of course, make sure you guys subscribe down below if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys next time on the channel. Take care and Forza Barca.